everyone. So I'm running David to PT, and I figured I would drive around and play while he's there. So that's where we're headed right now. Once we get there, I will start talking about Community Day, and maybe by then we'll have a few visitors or a few viewers. I will say I've talked to the PT about seeing where we're at with
No, Danny's girlfriend. Lexi. Says morning sky.
Morning, Lexi. It's right there in her name.
I know, but it says...
Back to what I was saying for a minute. The PT is working on that. I had an offer that $99 a month or just under $1,000 total, and the $99 a month would be for 12 months. I can get the app that I really want developed. So we are watching our emails and everything for the stimulus check, and we will go from there. So, sometime today I'm going to be checking with our insurance agent on what to do about Danny, where he's in limbo and he might stay and he might go back and whatever. And we won't really have warning. I know the last insurance guy said that taking someone off your insurance to go on a mission is quite difficult nowadays. And so we will see there. I can't say either way, because last time because it was so short before he was going to leave, we thought at first, and because of how hard it was recommended we just keep him off our insurance. And then when we found out it was going to be a good wait, the idea was still that go ahead and keep him off until he comes home, and just not have him drive. Our insurance agent had told us if they only drive like once a month at that, so if they rarely drive, they don't need to have insurance. They're covered by the car, just because it's a rare. But now that he's got back and everything, I'm gonna check. We've got a new insurance agent since then, and a few things like that. So I'm going to do some asking.
Lexi says, hi, David, hello. She said that a little while ago, but I just didn't see it. Only 2 minutes ago.
galaxy. Yeah. I'm going to turn off the car just for a little bit. And we will go over here. Let's see. Okay, so Community Day. 24 hours rather than the usual 3 hours. You'll have special assignments, increased soundables from Central Park Registry page, including the Rampant, Mountain Trail Demiguise, Branch of Bow Treckles and Picket, and 1K Port Keys. So, once this loads in there, the complimentary gift is stuff for trace potions and 50 spell energy. And then you can purchase a tonic, 5 silver keys, and 50 energy. And that's what I meant. The other one had 50 energy. I think I said potions. So there's the ones that'll be there. There will naturally be spell energy on the map. It looks like landmarks might be turned off, but they might not. I can't tell because of the way the thing is. Decreased flee rate. The port key will have Murtlap, which that will be nice because then you won't have to fight in your fortress for that one. The spawns will increase for the tonic too. And then, let's see. Here's the special assignments. Collect 2 ingredients or port keys. And from my experience up till now, they do count energy as ingredients. Use tonic for trace detection twice. Earn 300 Magizoology XP. 5 Murtlap for returning 20 mountain trolls. 5 for returning 20 demiguise. And 5 for returning 10 picket. Then you'll get 3 spellbooks. Sorry. And they were talking about... So yes, Jen, I yawned again. 40 gold and 300 XP. Those will be the things. So it will be very much a be able to play at home event. Let's go to the page. So as you can see, it will be this page basically. I only need that Murtlap. So I will be definitely leaving space open to grab port keys. In fact, if there's any way you can get through all your port keys, that might be an idea. The more port keys you can get through before the event, I really recommend pick up as many of these port keys as we can where they're going to be 1K port keys. Because you will be able to save those for future events. And the Community Day port keys have remained being 1Ks even later, and so you've been able to use those if you need to open a number of port keys. So, or if you need to open up space fast, that's another way I've done it too. Now, there is, if you choose to do that, I do want to make clear, there is no guarantee that we will need those port keys later, so I'm not saying it to, oh, be sure and do this so you have this many, because you're going to need the port key later. It's more just to put it aside. I'm going to make that very clear, because sometimes when I say that, that's confused people. So the reason I'm playing while David's in PT is because they've asked us not to go in unless we have an appointment. Even in our case, even though I'm his mother, I'm sure if he was younger they'd want me to go in. But because of his age, he's okay going in by himself. And so they want that. The idea being the fewer people that go in, the better. Now, I could be jumping in fortresses like I did when Brett was driving yesterday, but I will not be doing that today because I'm driving. So, unless when I pick up David, he does it, we will be waiting on that. And I am hearing my brakes. I'm aware of that. I need to wait either till Friday or till we get the stimulus check. And then I will be talking to getting Danny to replace my brakes. So it is, to me, very interesting. My brakes stayed totally fine the whole time he was gone. And the minute he comes home and is let out of the house so he can go get the right brakes and everything, like literally that morning they started acting up. So I will check and see as we get closer down here what's been said. I do not expect Jen to come on today. I know her well enough to know for her, this is what she considers a way too early time in the morning. Just because I think part of it is she can set her own hours. And so the hours she sets are more in the afternoon, evening. I know she stays up late many times playing Wizards Unite and Pokemon Go. I don't know how much of that was stimulated by Pokemon Go, but I do know around here to get some of the rare Pokemon, you did have to get up, or had to be up in the middle of the night. During the middle of the day, it wasn't as common to find rare foundables. Rare Pokemon. And so it's very possible that she adjusted her schedule then and has just kept it. I don't, obviously with Wizards Unite, they've kind of spaced those out more. Between day and night, so it's more a hit and miss on what's the best time to be out doing stuff. So because you have your doxies in the mornings. Hi, Steph. I do not know how many times we're going to go around Willow Park and how long the stream's going to be, just because I would say in less than 10 minutes David will be out from PT and I need to go back and get him. But rather than sitting there doing nothing today, I felt I could come stream. So I thought it was interesting. So trying to figure out, hopefully we get some good spell energy gifts, and some good other gifts to be able to gift everyone. I gifted everyone gifts yesterday and forgot to open my own gifts. Oh well. I try to give away as many good gifts as I can, as you guys know. But I did not hear from Harry Potter. What? Hopefully the stream's not acting. Hopefully the stream's not acting up too bad. Yeah, I've done that. I forgot to pick up energy. Or, I've waited to get my energy till I get home, and then I forgot to do it. That's sad stuff. I got lucky, and I do have the last port key waiting to open. I can't remember. I think with part 2, if you get enough and then you have some extra port keys, they may count randomly be either one. So, wow, ouch. That is one thing I think they should adjust, because there's only one way to get port keys, and that's to walk. And if you're stuck in your house, I know they have the adventure sink set up, but if people don't have a treadmill in their house, trying to get the steps even for adventure sink would be very difficult. Because what are you gonna do? Walk up and down make your hollow treadmill and leave a hole in your carpet? Things like that. I don't think they fully thought that one through. I get they're giving us in the bonus event the Fortress Foundables, but what about the port key? So hopefully they'll realize and maybe they'll do something with the... Yeah, that's where I was. And then they didn't cut the 5 and 10K port keys walking distance, which they had indicated they would. And I know this event for you ends in, what, an hour and a half? So that would be a lot of laps around the yard to try and get the port keys in. So part of what I was waiting for there yeah, I will say the fact that we have silver keys is nice. Without it, I think people would be even worse off. So I do like that. That's my last one, thank heavens. I am going to go through my 2Ks. And this is, to me, and Brett's wondered this too. We talked about it. I hope if you don't get them all popped, I hope you're at least able to get them like picked up. I'm just double checking. Yeah, that's my last one, so I'm supposed to be over picking up David already. I bet I get a call really soon. Where are you, Mom? Yeah, and then you'll want to be able to, you will, it looks like, want to work through those port keys decently fast if you can, so that you can be ready to pick up event port keys for Community Day. That's one thing that's why I chose my 2Ks. Is maybe I can clear out all my 2Ks and start on my 5K before Community Day. Told you he's gonna call any minute. Hi, you there?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, yeah, I am headed your way. I'm by the fairgrounds.
Okie dokes.
So,
Bye.
I love you. Told you I'd be calling. Of course, I will say the event port keys are shorter even than the 2Ks I've got, but still, trying to get through them can be hard. So Jen's already maxed out this event. I'll see what you said once I get to where I need to pick up David. It's a little bit harder. Or, yeah, not a little bit. It is harder when I'm driving, so... where I'm headed directly to him. I honestly, when I'm driving with the traces, the foundables, I literally glance down and then and my thumb goes right over it while I'm glancing down. I look up and click so while I'm watching where I'm driving, I'm clicking, selecting stuff, see what trace it is, know what way my fingers need to go, and go from there. So... I totally get it on the weather keeping you inside. That was one thing I was saying, was that there's issues with getting port keys taken care of. Because if you're stuck inside, trying to get them now is even harder. At least before, you'd have large areas you could go walk when the weather was good or stuff. Now, some people aren't even allowed to leave their apartments or houses, not even to go out in the yard. I know one of the one of the YouTubers I watch, from Alaska, they're being told they aren't appropriately dealing with the quarantine because they go out in their yard. Well, their yard is the only yard for quite a while. And yet people are yelling at them for allowing the kids out of the house into the yard and telling them that they're going to catch it. So that's kind of interesting because there is no way that they are going to catch it. Purple ones, and if you want to go after the fortresses, there's that too. We'll go around Willow Park once and then go from there.
Yeah, I'm so glad that I'm not in an apartment, says Steph.
Yeah. But I think, interesting. Ellis Elementary is putting up a sign that says, "We love and miss our students." I wonder who put out the money for that. And it's even that, this is one school that this is kind of sad what's going on right now, because my understanding, this school, it may be I think it's the last year that they're going to be here in like 100 years or something. It's the last year that school's going to be a school and going to be standing. My understanding is because of the way Logan is and everything else, that school is going to be torn down, and then later on they'll build something else they'll either sell the land or build something else or build another school there. I don't remember which, and none of those are what exactly they'll do after they tear it down. That's always in flux until they start doing it. But my understanding, that school's getting torn down real soon. And so they may not even have the chance to have end their final year there with assemblies and stuff to commemorate how long that school's been open. Are you watching for purple stuff and going after stuff?
I'm trying.
Okay. Just checking. I know that's one thing that has been a huge issue around here is some of our oldest buildings, depending on the town you live in. Unless you have a historical society in your town, and even then, unless you have a historical society in your town, there's no hope for saving older buildings unless whoever owns the building has a spot in their heart for older buildings.
Steph said I feel terrible for people in those situations. Probably to the apartment stuff, considering it was only a minute after that.
Yeah. If you do have a historical society, sometimes you can get some of those older buildings saved. But even then, sometimes you can't. So, it can be interesting and difficult, interesting, etc. So, around here. Many of our older buildings in Logan are in private hands. And yeah. And I know from my understanding, Logan School District is not willing to sell to private that school because they need a school in that area, and they don't feel that, even though I can think of some places they could put the school just a few blocks away, they don't feel there's any place they can.
Steph says, we do here, but it takes years to be approved.
Mm-hmm. Well, honestly, this one they've known for years that the school district wants to tear this one down, and people have fought for years to prevent it. But school district is refusing to sell the building to people who want to preserve it. And they say that the building's too old, and it is. I mean, they have to have it earthquake safe and stuff like that, and it's not because of when it was built. And so, but the school district won't sell it to allow them to try and save it. And so they're kind of up a creek without a paddle. Go ahead and go after the greenhouse and the ends, even if I have full energy. And so what's really sad is just within like 3 blocks, I can think of a space of open land that they could purchase. It's been undeveloped for, well, there's still no buildings on it, let's put it that way. And so they could develop that. They'd have to do something a little bit with the roads or whatever. But I see no problem getting kids there or anything, even elementary school kids. And compared to where no extra problems really than they have now.
Bureaucracy at its best.
Yeah. But they won't do it. And they claim that there's no place to build a elementary school without tearing this one down. And yet, I think Jen will vouch for this if she were on. There is space. She sees it every single time she goes to work. Because it's not that far from her work. There's a wide open space. They would have to put up a fence. I will totally agree there that a fence in a way that the kids couldn't scale it. Because it is by the railroad tracks. But honestly, even then, with the way buildings are built nowadays, school buildings and whatever, you wouldn't hear the train passing. 2, I don't know if the train, I think maybe the trains pass once a day. Maybe. It's not a frequent railroad track, let's put it that way. And so I can't see that having an issue from it. So there's that, and why it's kind of frustrating to me. So I don't know, but it is, when you hear when you hear of historical buildings like that being torn down, it's kind of sad. They already, a year or 2 ago, tore down the oldest building at our fairgrounds that had been used for the county fairs for years, and replaced it with another building. And I can see the need for it, but then they've made it basically to where, rather than being a community building, which the old one was, this one's you have to pay to get in. Period. Even during the community fair, that building is, rather than being used for the fair, which was the indication, it's used for, quote, quote, for the fair, but the only way to get into the stuff in that building is to pay extra. Is to pay. So our fair, county fair or whatever, in the past has been free entrance to look at all the animals, to look at the things that people have produced, whatever. Well, this one, and then you paid for rides, and you could buy food and stuff like that, and the way the fair would be paid for was vendors paying for a spot, different things like that. Well, this past time, the vendors still had to pay, the rides were still the same or more expensive. But then they had this building of some of the fair stuff that you had to pay to go in. And so I don't know how many people paid. Maybe it's been 2 years they've done it that way. I don't know how many people paid, but I would bet that a lot fewer people went in there and saw a lot of it than have seen it in the past. And so the idea behind fairs is to encourage kids and even adults and whatever to try to do the same, to remind them of those types of things, of cooking, of growing stuff, of farming, etc. And to be able to earn rewards or, earn prizes for those things that nowadays are considered maybe not as lucrative. Well, they aren't lucrative jobs, so you don't get reward for the usual monetary reward. And honestly, they're jobs that a lot of people are moving away from. So at a time when even more so it should be considered, let's encourage people to come see and remind the kids that this is a possibility of a job and whatever, it's being marginalized that much more.
Steph said it is probably to the tearing down of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, or the marginalization, everything else. So.
Right.
And so it's frustrating. It's bureaucracy. I get it, but yeah. And part of it, I think, also is while it serves the county, it is run by the city, and obviously different people have different viewpoints. See, this land to the right of where we are, there's 2 buildings that are falling down, and the land is plenty big enough, I think David will agree, that this is bigger than any of the county schoolyards.
It would be really hard to build on, though.
Why?
Because the little bit of swamp that's there.
I didn't notice the swamp, so.
Well, I mean, it might not be, but that's what it looks like.
I didn't see a smoke there. But what I'm saying is that the land is bigger
That's true.
than the land available there is bigger than the land of any of the other elementary schools in the county even, right?
That's true.
So there's plenty of room for the building and the playground and everything else, and it's 2 blocks from the old school, from the school they're saying they have to tear down because there's no land to build. And then there's a few spaces there like that.
It's a huge plot of land, is what Steph said.
Yeah, it's a huge plot. There are 2 old buildings on it. That's part of also why I don't think it's a marshland. Because in the past, why would they build a building on marshland? When there's enough buildings that are newer that mean they could have built those older buildings somewhere else. I mean, there's land here too. So,
at the very least, there's a body of water, which they would have.
At the very least, there's what?
Nothing.
Okay. Sorry. Anyway, we are headed home. I don't know if his brothers will be home or not. I know Caden worked today, and I think I understood from Stephen that he was working this morning, and so he was going to take Daniel in with him when he went into work to be able. My understanding was maybe.
I believe Stephen and Danny are going to go in the evening, not the morning.
Well, that's what I was lost at, is I understood that Stephen said he's going to take Daniel in when he goes in to work, and he said something about in the morning, and then Daniel would work in the afternoon, and he might even wouldn't be doing it. My understanding was Danny was a lot more keen on the backroom stuff and learned more of the meat cutting, etc. portion than Stephen ever did. Yeah. It's like, geez, they're doing all this building, or they're going to be building to build, like they have them already going up, and they've got the land prepped for. It makes me question if they're going, especially where not as many people, it's not as good of a time to buy houses. As they build too many without people buying, then it's going to reduce the ability to sell in such a way. I don't think there's anything.
I'm still going to check.
Okay. It's going to reduce the market for houses even more, and make it an even worse time to sell. So anyway, we're home, and And then we'll see how far we got on the event. I did end up looking at the achievement I did yesterday and picking it up because it didn't. The next one I'm close to is something like 17 more port keys. We'll go look in just a minute. Let's go look at that first. So I need, 17 more port keys. And then we've got potions, used images placed, defensive spells cast. You can see I'm not really close on anything but the port keys. So, yeah. Okay, so I think what the gifts are is when that gift was. Thank you, Steph. Collect some more stuff. So, let's come over here. Hi, Angel Goddess. I was just getting ready to leave, to get off in just a couple of minutes. Just finishing up at home. But it's good to see ya. Okay. Oh, I know what I want.